Emma stared at the envelope in her hands. The paper felt fragile. 20 years old. Maybe more. The attic was silent. Her mother sat beside her without speaking. Neither of them moved. Neither of them seemed ready for what came next. The words on the envelope seemed to glow in the dim light. Open if you forget. Emma swallowed. What did I forget? She whispered. Her mother looked away. You'll understand. With trembling fingers, Emma opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Folded carefully. Protected for decades. Waiting. For this exact moment. Emma unfolded it. The handwriting was unmistakable. Her own. Written by a 10-year-old girl. The first sentence made her stop breathing. If you're reading this, it means you're lost again. A tear rolled down Emma's cheek. She continued reading. That says people don't get lost all at once. It happens little by little. First they forget what makes them happy. Then they forget what makes them brave. Then they forget who they are. Emma felt her chest tighten. Because every word was true. For years she had been living exactly that way. Working. Planning. Smiling. Performing. Pretending. While quietly becoming someone she didn't recognize. The letter continued. If you're reading this when you're older, I want you to answer one question. When was the last time you felt excited to wake up? Emma stared. She couldn't remember. Not yesterday. Not last month. Maybe not even last year. The next lines were harder. That says grown-ups make decisions because they're scared. Promise me you won't. Don't stay somewhere because you're afraid to leave. Don't marry someone because you're afraid to be alone. Don't live someone else's dream. Emma stopped reading. Her hands shook. Her mother quietly wiped away tears. Because both of them knew exactly what the letter was talking about. Ryan. The wedding. The life Emma had been trying to force herself to want. For the first time, Emma said the words out loud. I don't love him. The sentence echoed through the attic. Her mother closed her eyes. Not shocked. Not surprised. Just sad. I know. Emma looked up. You knew? Diane nodded. For a long time. Why didn't you say anything? Because it wasn't my decision. Silence. Then her mother smiled sadly. It had to be yours. Emma looked back at the letter. There was one final paragraph. The last thing 10-year-old Emma had written. If you're reading this, Dad might not be here anymore. The tears came immediately. So I need to tell you something before I forget. He says brave people are not people who never get scared. They're people who tell the truth even when they're terrified. So if you're scared right now, tell the truth. Even if it changes everything. The next morning, Emma called Ryan. He answered immediately. Hey. His voice sounded happy. Normal. Future wedding plans probably already filling his mind. Emma closed her eyes. Then remembered the letter. Remembered her father. Remembered herself. and finally told the truth. The conversation lasted almost 2 hours. There were tears, questions, pain. But there was also honesty. For the first time in years. When it was over, the wedding was cancelled. The weeks that followed were difficult. Friends questioned her decision. Family members worried. Some people thought she had made a mistake. But every morning Emma felt something she hadn't felt in years. Relief. Months later, she left the marketing job she hated. A year later, she started a small publishing business. The kind of work she had dreamed about as a teenager. The kind of work she had abandoned because it seemed too risky. Too uncertain. Too impossible. One evening, almost 2 years later, Emma visited her mother's house again. The attic was exactly the same. Dusty. Quiet. Filled with memories. She sat alone with a box of letters. Then opened the envelope marked AGE 32. Inside was a simple note. Written by her younger self. Emma smiled. For the first time in a very long time. She was. As she carefully placed the letters back into the chest, something slipped from the bottom. A photograph. One she had never seen before. Her father. Holding her hand. Both of them laughing. On the back was a handwritten message. A message her father had written shortly before he died. Emma read it slowly. Then smiled through tears. The future will always try to tell you who to become. Listen to your heart first. Years earlier, Emma thought a letter from the future had saved her life. But now she finally understood the truth. It wasn't the future. It wasn't magic. It wasn't fate. It was a little girl who refused to forget who she was. And a father who made sure she never would. The end.